very disappointing, right? You build this practice. I mean, 280 million is a life changer in that business. I mean, you don't have to sort of look for another client for the rest of your life. So it's a restart. Again, I was like, this is what I've been dealt. I'm going to go figure it out. And again, I made the trip to Myrtle Beach and saw where I started, and I got very lucky with the team at Bank of America. So there's 5 of us, and along with the team, we got $1 billion in book of business. So what I lost there, I made it up. Plus, got a fabulous team. And so, always sees it like a premise of the bouncing ball, right? I always think like the harder I fall, the higher I want to bounce. So I always think it from there, like the harder it is, fine. I think I'll bounce back the higher from there. So that I keep the mentality all the time, as much as possible. So
and you can imagine that everybody in this room who's kind of doing early stage startups or startups at different stages, probably see lots of ups and downs, right? So definitely a lot to relate to there. So after that, you made another transition, right? $1 billion, and you made another big change, went in a completely different direction. Tell us, how old you were, what kind of a situation you were personally, and why did you make that decision, and how did it all go?
Yeah, so we had a great team, like I said, at Bank of America, great book of business. And then one of time members called me and asked me to come run his family office, highest net worth individual in Atlanta. And so we talked for a few months, and I went to my team and I said, this is the opportunity. They said, go do it. And if you don't like it, you want to come back, there's always a place for you. So it was such an incredible opportunity. I mean, there's very, very few people get that. And so after thinking through, talking to my teammates, making a proper transition to them, I joined to run this family office. This was in 2005, right when India was starting up, so we put a good allocation for India. We did some deals. And at the bank, pretty much we were sort of peddling product for all intents and purposes, right? Here I was actually developing products, talking to hedge funds, talking to managers, completely different experiences. Well worth it.
Can you delve a little deeper on that, just for the benefit of all of us? What was Bank of America and what was the family office thing? How was the transition, and what was the business like? Help us understand a little bit about that.
So your bank, like I said, we would get packaged products, right? So you've heard of CDOs, right? And that brought the whole economy down. So we had people coming from the CDO department saying, sell this to your clients. So I said, well, where does it fit in? And they're like, remove fixed income, municipality bonds, municipal bonds, and replace it. Like, oh, great. I mean, this is 200 basis points, 300 basis points more. It's AAA rated, so it's the same thing that we all heard, right? And like something doesn't feel right, right? Something is not right. So I didn't do it. And I talked to some hedge funds, and I said, tell me what this is all about. And they're like, it's toxic, don't touch it. And so these guys knew. But at the bank, I wouldn't say my colleagues were doing something wrong, I don't think. They just didn't know. It was so complicated, and they were handed certain things, so they would come tell us how to sell it, where to put it in. So we didn't have sort of that visibility behind the scenes what was happening. When I ran the family office, I got to visit a lot of the hedge fund managers, a lot of the conferences. So we would talk to a lot of the other family offices, what are you doing and what investment vehicles you're using, hedge fund managers you're using. Completely different. So there's a lot sort of digging a lot deeper into the investment strategies. We're just selling the packaged products.
Sure. Essentially, it's selling a product versus trying to find a product, I guess, right? For growing the money that the family office had.
I mean, every morning I used to get a couple of FedEx packages at my door, right? Every morning, and unsolicited, some solicited. We'd have to look through everything. Right? What does it fit? And most of those didn't fit. So out of probably 100, we would do 2-3 deals.
Okay. And you're the only person, and then you built a team around yourself to kind of do that, or just you?
Just me, but the way we did it, we actually outsourced it, so the managers are outside. Okay. I managed the allocation and monitoring, then we would get the managers to do the actual, because the hedge funds are very complicated, right? And we have multiple managers, so a lot smarter people than me who were appropriate to do that.
Right. Excellent. So this was 2005-7 time frame, and when you decided to take another change and go a complete entrepreneurial route in the traditional industry that we know a little bit about. So tell us about that experience, why you did it, and how was that whole thing from start to finish?
Yeah, so the family moved to the West Coast, and I was on the East Coast, and also I'd set everything up so they were in a very good place. This was 2008. So my wife had a furniture business, which we ran together, and which grew very fast. In 2008, corrected very fast. And so I stepped in, helped her with it. Both of us sort of stabilized it. It was a tough time, right? Because banks were acting irrationally, customers weren't paying. Everything looked very dark in the US at that time. We worked with our customers, worked with the banks, stabilized it, and we were on an uptick. In 2010, we got an offer to sell it. We sold it, and after that, I sort of moved on to my own ventures.
Excellent. And so during these, you had the IT career going into the banking space, building a big business there, doing the family office. So can you share a few lessons in terms of, the change and transition? A lot of us sometimes fear change. I have several of my friends who've been working at Cisco for the last 17 years. And believe me, they want to leave, but they can't, right? And here you are, where you've made multiple transitions, right? So can we spend some time just kind of sharing the risks, the rewards, and your learnings from it?
So grass is always greener on the other side, right? You think this is fun on our side. No, it's been for me. I thrive on it. So I enjoy the change. I get complacent in a sort of role that's going too well, so I almost need that kick. And as long as you can handle it mentally and physically, it's not a big deal. Right? So I think it depends on the person. Some people can handle it, some enjoy their stability. I think it's very personal driven.
Sure. All right, and I think another thing that we'd love to kind of understand a little bit from your experience is, I think everybody here who's an entrepreneur is also a salesperson, and you've sold a lot across your different careers, right? So what would be kind of key takeaways from a selling perspective? You're still selling, you were selling earlier today. So can you spend some time on kind of understanding what your to-dos and not to-dos are and things like that around kind of sales and kind of building a business from scratch?
So I look at sales very differently. I don't think all these tactics work long term. So set your meeting from 3:50 to 4:10. Those you really have to take your personality and develop it. If you just feel whatever it is, right? Selling to me is just taking care of the customer on the other side. As long as you do that, I think the rewards will come. It's a good product, and that's all I've always done. Even sort of when clients. The CDO, I could have very easily sold it. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I didn't know it was the right thing for the client. I always did that. As long as I can look out for the other party's interest first, it's always paid off. So to me, that's sales. It's not about pushing them and getting the managers to come talk to them. I just don't believe in that. So my strategy is very simple. I'll tell you like it is. Hopefully, this meeting of the minds. And if not, if you got a better product, good luck to you.
Excellent. So. Perfect. And so I think the next thing I want to kind of touch on is, looking back, we talked about that a little bit. There are a lot of lessons that we learn looking back. So what are those things, and what are some stories around that that we can all learn from?
Yeah, so I don't look. I can actually go back and say a lot of these things were failures. I can say I didn't keep the job, I kept moving around, I looked for opportunity. I can look at it as failure. Or I can look at that and say, that's me, that's what I enjoy. I bounce back from those. So I think one of the things that I've really sort of been able to handle well is downturns. And that's very important in entrepreneurship, right? I mean, day to day is different. Some days I think, oh my gosh, what am I doing, you know? Selling to the government, what was